Welcome to RCS. This is Dan.
Oh, I didn't know we were starting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Nick. Yeah, sorry. I'm not used to that.
I guess you're like a phone call.
That order, yeah. Go for Palpatine. Yeah. How are you?
That is an old reference. I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah, I've made it through Snowpocalypse with no problems. All 2 days of it.
Good Lord. That was just...
I got stuck on I-90 for an hour and a half.
When?
I went up on... Was it yesterday? I didn't even keep the days straight anymore. I think it was yesterday. I went up.
Okay.
Whenever there was that giant 15-car pileup, I was one exit past that at 38. I went up, played in the snow, may have allegedly done a few donuts, and used the Raptor a little bit. And then getting back on the highway, it was just stopped. Luckily, I was right behind it, not farther up, because it was an hour and a half just sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do a real good job of plowing I-90. When I got on it Saturday morning early, like, it was there hadn't been a plow. Like, and people were driving... There was no lanes, and
it was
weaving back. I mean, no. This is when, like, Saturday morning, like, early, like, it was thick snow, and people were still... Yeah. Like, I made fresh tracks on I-90, which was weird.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and then, so it's I don't know, people need to learn how to drive in this crap. Okay.
It was fun, heavy snow, though. Like, I got out, took the Raptor does great in the snow. It's like, it's so fun because you don't really worry about it.
Yeah.
You just kind of, it's got that all-wheel drive mode versus four-wheel drive.
Sure.
You just go.
Yeah.
And it just kind of figures it out. It's I'm not that good of a driver, so I'm like,
we
thank God for that.
We figured it out when we drove it almost to the top of the ski hill that day, and we were just...
I still really wish we'd done that. I really wanted Ski Patrol to tell me. I just really wanted Ski Patrol to tell me to go home.
Yeah, exactly. How did you get up here? Chairlift?
Yeah. Put the truck on a chairlift.
We built it up here.
Yep.
It's easier that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about it. It's just been crazy working. I'm looking forward to the next Dirtfish / Avance event coming up on the 20th. Hopefully we'll be in the snow still. That'll make it kind of cool.
That's like a day after this comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's next weekend.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I know. You've been a little distracted lately.
I forgot to eat till like 2 today. So.
I've as your friend for being so long, many times I've called you and I was like, do you know what day it is? Do you know where you are? Have you eaten? Like, you know.
No, Mom.
Then I'm like, turn around and tell Shauna to eat too. Okay. Both of you. Nice.
Yeah. So our Carter Subaru tip of the week this week is about Alcantara. So people say suede all the time. Mm-hmm. Almost no car on the market uses suede, period. Like upper end Bentleys, McLarens, Lamborghinis, and almost nobody uses suede. And there's a good reason for it. It's a pain in the butt to clean, and it doesn't last very long. It looks really cool, but...
How do you even spell it? Is it S-U? Is it S-E? I mean, nobody knows. That's the problem.
But anyway, Alcantara is synthetic suede, and it's used almost interchangeably. But the question is how do you clean it?
Just throw it away.
Yeah, totally.
Start over.
Just start a new car. That's why you lease them. Anyway, if you're not doing that, or you pick up like a used GT3 RS, for example, you'll find steering wheels, shifters are often in Alcantara. And to clean them, it's actually a lot easier than you think. It's really robust. It doesn't stain like suede, thank God. And you basically use any interior cleaner that's safe for leather. So most generic interior cleaners will work. We recommend Griots, of course. And you take a brush, a boar's hair brush, a long one, and you just kind of swirl it on there a little bit, not heavy pressure, and you just wipe it down with a microfiber cloth.
Do they have specialized brushes for it, or just a long boar's hair?
They do, except you don't need them.
Oh, fair enough.
So you basically, a longer, light boar's hair brush. That stuff actually cleans up really easy. And I actually recommend getting a white microfiber towel, not one of the other ones, because it can actually kind of stain in reverse. It's very porous.
Okay. And
so you don't want to use anything heavy. You don't want to use anything oil. And then you just wipe it off. You just spray it down really lightly. You don't want to soak it. You don't want to get it really like saturated with cleaner. You just stir that up a little bit with a really light touch and then just wipe it off.
We should look into that sometime for another Carter Super tip. Is what is Alcantara? Like, how is it made? Things like that. Because, I mean, it's one of those things that is in the car world, and we've just sort of accepted it. Like, that's Alcantara. Oh, okay. That's leather. Okay.
I would love to have, Northwest Crafted is an Avance partner.
Okay.
And we should have them on the show. I've talked to them at many events, and they would be an interesting guest because I'm sure they can go through all that with us.
Yeah.
So we'll just write that down, and we'll get them on the show.
Question of the day, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Come in and tell us about interiors.
Nice. Did you see McLaren's bringing out another car this week?
Is it a rebranded something with a McLaren name?
I think so.
Yeah.
Arturo. It's actually, so we're recording this on Monday. It comes out on Tuesday. And from the silhouette, it looks. It's got to be a performance version of the McLaren GT. Is all I can think, because, which if you don't know the McLaren GT, it's basically
a stretched 570 with golf club holdings.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that you can take your wife's Louis Vuitton luggage with you while your Sprinter van behind it carries all your important stuff. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. it's McLaren has gone from we made one car once to how many can we bring out this week?
Yeah, how many model changes can we have in a year?
So
they make great cars. I'm sure it'll be cool. I mean,
there's a guy that down in Florida that's drag time. I think he's got a new 675 LT and they're
765, the new one.
765.
Yeah, I get them backwards too.
Doing the quarter in like sevens.
What?
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
Well, it's tuned too, but it's like
that's
with like
turbos and nitrous.
Yeah, I don't know but I think it's 8s or 7s. Like it's and I know that's a big jump, but it's that's going to be, which is fine if you're pointing it in a straight direction. So
I mean, the GTRs were doing 7s with a bunch of tunes and work, but I mean that's all-wheel drive. To get that done, those numbers down with rear-wheel drive is and not eat the wall. It's impressive.
But you can take a GTR and put a few $50,000 into it and make it faster than a Bugatti. So
that's true.
Which I'd rather do, truthfully.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't have the money for either one, but I have a better chance of doing the GTR. So unless the steering wheel rattles, that's a problem.
That's just if you hear the clock spring rattle, there's an old story there.
You don't hear it until somebody tells you about it.
My 13 GTR had a really, really minor rattle that, until I pointed it out, didn't drive Nick insane.
No, and I'm like, oh, that's all I hear. So
they didn't fix under warranty, but that's actually a great bargain car. So anyway, different topic for a different
time.
You
can find it.
Yeah.
Our
guest this week, there are some big changes. Our sponsor and our favorite place to record a podcast, this Drivers Club, has a new general manager. And we've met David several times over the past, and he is now, through a strange twist of events, become the GM of Drivers Club. So David Plotz, welcome to the show. And welcome to Drivers Club, as you're very new to the not to cars. You're definitely an enthusiast. So how did you end up here?
Well, hey, guys. It's good to be here. I appreciate it.
Pleasure to have you.
I never thought I'd be sitting in this chair, but here I am.
I don't know why everybody thinks this is a blessing. It's like, sure, come on, sit down. Right.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We don't know what we're doing. Maybe you do.
So Drivers Club is a place that I'll probably wear out the word surreal, as we were talking earlier. But, out of nowhere, Doug Perry hit me up and said, Dave, are you interested in coming on board and managing this place? So thought about it, and, it was unexpected, so I had to put some good thought into it. But really, it wasn't that hard of a decision. It's an awesome place and awesome people, and I'm just thrilled to be here.
I was going to say, there's not a lot of arm twisting when it says come to Drivers Club. Not a lot of people are like, I don't know if that's for me. Yeah. Let alone to be working here.
Yeah. To work in a place that just aligns so well with your passion, and you're truly excited to get up and come in here every day.
Yeah. Let's talk more about that passion, because right now you're running one of my favorite cars out there right now, especially bang for the buck. Just an all-around amazing car to drive. You're running a GT350. That's
right. I have a 2017 GT350 Lightning Blue, and a really fun car. I'm a Porsche guy, definitely 911. It doesn't get any better than that to me, but I do like variety of experiences in what I'm driving, and so
I can't relate.
Yeah. So it's a fun car. It's really good.
Yeah.
So how'd you kind of end up here? Like, where'd you start? Are you like we always joke? It's like, are you the kid with the Hot Wheels? Like, were you always into cars?
You want me to go all the way back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm born and raised in the Pacific Northwest, and been many places between then and now, but did always like cars. Nothing fancy growing up, just point A to B, and getting around. But then, college and getting out on my own, started to develop that passion and started to, aspire to get into some performance vehicles. Yeah, I always liked washing cars too, and did everything wrong in the beginning, Dawn dish soap and bath towels.
I've never used Dawn. I've used many wrong things.
Yeah, I've definitely used the bath towels for a long time that were obviously still had some spray paint or something hard on them. So I had that one spot I just turned into sandpaper.
It gets the dirt off easier.
Yeah. What was your first performance car to you?
It was a 2004 G35 coupe.
Oh yeah, that's a great starter.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
It was a fun car, and I got to take it over to Germany. I was stationed there in the military.
Yeah.
And so got to test that governor at about 156.
Yeah.
The upside of the military. Here's some money. What should I buy with this? And I'm in Germany. Yeah. Did you actually take it over there with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought it here and
Nice.
then just transported over there, and
That's
I
the way
got
to
to
do it.
stretch the legs.
Nice. I've yet to do that. I've yet to put a car on the Autobahn. And
Yep.
have you haven't done that? Have
Nope.
you?
Never
Okay,
been
yeah,
to Germany.
okay.
Never to the Autobahn. So,
I don't know if we're welcome in Germany.
Yeah.
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 Don't look at the Germans in the audience.
So where did you go from there? Actually, let's go back a little bit. You said you jumped into the military. Was that straight out of high school?
No, I went to West Point College.
Oh.
Never heard of it.
And,
Yeah. The fancy military.
Yeah.
most people think it's in California.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all right.
fine. I did too for a while. Yeah. Yeah.
So I came out of there and commissioned, went straight into the military, and served for about 11 years active duty. That took me overseas, both stationed and then had some deployments in the Middle East. I was back in the Northwest at Fort Lewis in about 2016 when I made the transition off of active duty. From there, I got a job in Seattle. I was working for on the technology side of Nordstrom, doing supply chain technology.
Oh, interesting.
So a good experience.
Yeah.
It was quite.
When I think Nordstrom's, I think military. I mean, it's really, it's just hand in hand.
variety.
We need that wedding dress here now. Stat. I got this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, for sure. It was a change coming from being a Green Beret, overseas, and
Just that.
stepping right
Those
into.
are the guys that cook the hash browns, right? The little hats. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Super. Okay. Yeah.
So stepping into fashion retail was a broadening experience, and I enjoyed it.
Was that something you were looking for, or were you? Was one of these things where you're like, I'm really skilled at doing things that most people probably don't want me to do in public anymore. How'd you end? That's.
Yeah, I wanted to stay in the Northwest.
Okay.
Really liked it here. Wanted to go to a company that had some brand equity and good reputation, and was interested in something that was facing technology. Just kind of seemed like the tip of the spear here in the Northwest.
Sure. Okay.
So
maybe that is a military thing because Griff sells clothing now too.
It's true.
So our friends from Combat Flip Flops.
That's
actually.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a great experience. I loved it. It was a good transition, and good for my family.
Very cool. Yeah. How long you've got 3 kids? You're married?
I'm married. I have 3 kids, 7-year-old daughter.
And a very understanding wife if he owns a Mustang. Yeah. I'd like to buy a sports car that none of us can fit in. Okay.
The car seat definitely fits in the back.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
absolutely.
bonus. Okay.
Oh, so it's an S, not an R. We've established that now.
Got it. Okay. Yes.
My first son is going on 5, and then we have a little boy that's going on 2.
Oh.
So they're a handful, but it's a really great handful.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Are any of them already car enthusiasts? Because I was when I was that young.
There's something magical about get your kid in the back and you step on the accelerator and you see their eyes light up.
Yep.
So they from a young age they've been into that and now they egg me on.
Faster, Daddy.
They call it rocket ship.
Sure.
They say
I'm
rocket
with you.
ship, Dad.
Yeah. Let me show you why seatbelts are important, son. Corners. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, and the sound of that V8 and that Mustang, one of the best sounding cars Ford's ever made.
Yeah.
And then at least obtainable ones.
Absolutely.
The GT sounds great, but you're not going to hear that one very often. That's really cool.
Right.
All right, well, let's take our first break. We come back, we'll talk more about how you made the whole transition to here. We'll be back.
We spend an average of 8 hours and 41 minutes a day facing screens. Laptops, smartphones, tablets, even digital refrigerators. But what are we really connected to? Isn't it time you connected to something greater? Sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect. This moment of escape was created by Haggerty for people who love cars.
And we're back. All right, so Green Beret.
That's right.
That's cool.
It's a good experience.
Yeah, so all the tours overseas and stuff like that. What was your... Well, we can't go into the real stuff. What was your favorite deployment, though, like over there? Because traveling's a big part of this job at Drivers Club, as you will find out through all their events.
Yeah. Everywhere I went was unique and rewarding and really valuable in terms of life experiences.
Yeah.
I spent quite a bit of time in Iraq and Afghanistan a couple times, and I love always experiencing different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
People are kind of the same everywhere you go. You find that out, have the same needs and same basic desires. But fortunate for the interactions I had there, as well as the people I got to work with along the way.
We're just listening to beers pop, as they should. Thanks, Rainier.
You joined us for the Combat Flip Flop. You were here, right, when those guys were here?
No.
Were you here?
I listened to it.
Okay.
Oh, you were here from...
I know he was here.
I brought Matt.
Oh, that's what. That's it.
Moreman.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
from Obsessed Garage.
It's funny because when Griff was talking about that in the experience over there, he painted a totally different picture for me as far as what we think is unknowledgeable people over here, like what happens over there and the people and things like that. So it's always kind of it's a different picture. So
how did you make the connection with Matt from Obsessed Garage?
Yeah,
one of our favorite episodes, actually, and our most popular ones.
That's an appropriate segue. It was while deployed that you find yourself in between missions, in between work, decompressing a little and going down the YouTube rabbit hole, right?
No idea what you're talking about. Nope.
What's YouTube?
Want to know how they harvest acorns? No,
yeah.
Don't even get me started on that. I went down a dark hole this weekend. So
Anyway,
continue.
So how'd you,
it's very a lot of soldiers kind of look forward to when I get home. What car might I buy? What things might I do? And in looking at 911s, I found a video of Matt washing his and.
That was a long video. Any video Matt has of washing anything is a long video.
This guy's kind of strange, and I don't know why he's not, editing out any of him talking. But then you find yourself 55 minutes later, and you're like, why am I still listening to this guy? But the rest is history. Good friends with Matt Moreman, and just love what he's been able to do.
Yeah,
and
he's built an empire.
Yeah, it's really cool. So. Yeah, one thing led to another. I think eventually he organized an event at Rupes USA in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went out there and was part of that, where a bunch of us that were just Obsessed Garage followers kind of got together. And then there were some magical, friendships formed and relationships that I'm sure will last for life. So I met him a few years back, and then, just stayed in touch and see him a couple times a year, sometimes at SEMA or whatnot. But organized an event for the same type of gathering here in the Seattle area, and you guys were a stop along the way. It was awesome to bring him to Rain City Supercars and Drivers Club and all that.
Yeah, that interview with Matt was really eye-opening. Like, I had watched a lot of his videos, and you feel like a lot of people get this from our show when they meet us in person, where they feel like they know us really well, and then, which is flattering. I like that. I like feeling like people see us or hear us on the show and feel like they know us in person. But getting to know Matt and interview him was really different than I expected in a really good way. Like, just a super interesting guy, dealing with his OCD, his honesty about his life and how he's made his channel. It was actually pretty inspiring to just keep going, get to know people, I guess. I mean, we like to find interesting people, interesting stories, but it's often not what I think. It was less about building his empire than it was just getting to know him as a person and how it all lined up into something really great for him.
Yeah, what you see is what you get with Matt.
Which is cool.
I think you assume maybe sometimes a YouTube personality is different behind the scenes, but he's very authentic, and that's who he is all the time.
I just laughed because it came off as like, hey, Matt, why don't you edit your videos? Oh, I just don't know how to do it. I was like, Matt, you can paint correct a car down to the microns, but you don't know how to edit a video? Yeah, I don't want to do it. Like, oh, okay, cool. Just turn the video on, and here we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Most definitely. So then, basically, like you said, Porsche is your brand.
Yeah.
And this is a good place to be, considering the company cars of Porsche. So, and there's about, most of the other spots are too. I mean, is that the dream car? Have you owned a Porsche?
I've owned a 997.
Okay, let's go back there. Yeah.
Sure. So, prior to the Mustang, I had a 997.1 Carrera S. And I absolutely loved that car. It was showing some age, and it was nice to go from 2005 technology to 2017.
Sure.
But the balance and everything about that car, I just loved.
Okay. Did you use it? Was it a daily driver? Were you tracking it?
No, I mean, use it as much as possible.
Sure.
Car. Didn't drive it to work. Took the pickup to work.
That's probably safe. You don't want to drive that downtown.
You got to have a truck.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, drove it all over the place and enjoyed the heck out of it.
They're great cars. I mean, I think there's such a passion for those cars around here, and it's funny because in the car world, you either love Porsche or you don't like cars at all, kind of thing.
Right.
Well, they live up to the hype. I was having that conversation with somebody on Avance. It was actually Steve Theodore.
Never heard of him.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, one of our very first guests I was having this conversation with online, he was asking about Raptors, and I said, it's one of those things that until you drive one, you don't really get that they live up to the hype, because you're like, it's too big, it doesn't fit anywhere, and it just seems like you're paying too much for it. I'm like, just go drive it. They just work, and that's what matters. Porsches are the same way. They live up to the hype. Like, there's a lot of cars that are really cool and awesome to drive, but there's a reason I don't own a McLaren, and it's not because I'm not shopping for one. It's just I'm not willing to buy a car that I'm like, is it going to run today? Will the windows work? Will the roof work? Really cool car, but
the ceiling work.
It's like, will the transmission move today?
Sure.
And when they work perfect. But the Porsches, they work great every time at everything you do. Like, even if you have a rear-wheel drive Porsche, you throw snow tires on it, they'll actually go really well, even in really bad conditions.
Yeah, that funny you say that. So one of my first work tasks for the week was to
I'm so jealous. Go ahead.
Was to get turkey dinner out in the snow. And I can attest that with snow tires, you'd be surprised how capable it is.
They make an excellent snowplow. Did you know that?
Yeah.
GT3 RSs can plow snow like you wouldn't believe.
That car is incredible on snow tires, because when we drove it last year on our birthday, 2 years ago on the birthday, it had snow tires on it. So, and I'm kind of glad, because it was wet and nasty, and
Yeah, they handle so well.
So what's your dream Porsche?
Dan and I were talking earlier, the 911R is pretty amazing.
It's a good car.
Yeah.
And it's nice to not hear GT3 RS or GT2. So
yeah,
the R's are just it's a beautiful car.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful. I mean, all of them are, but it's
a wingless GT3 RS in my opinion, without the fender louvers and the fenders either. So it's basically a GT3T, but a little more exclusive.
Yeah. Very pure.
Farther down the alphabet in R.
Yeah.
Okay.
Farther
up the alphabet. Yeah.
Farther up the numeric scale.
There we go. Yeah. Exactly. You could pay more for less.
Yeah.
We were talking about that one time. Somebody was talking about speccing a Porsche. Like, it costs you more if you want to delete the stereo. And I'm like, what?
You can get a GT3 without AC and a stereo, and it costs more.
I don't understand. That doesn't make sense to me. So how'd you come upon the Mustang? Like, why?
Well, as I was saying, the 997 was showing its age, and more than that, it's just, Dan can relate to this, the experiment or the experience.
Mm-hmm.
A different flavor. For a couple of years is fun. So
that's the other side of the spectrum, which is neat. I mean, muscle cars. I love muscle cars. There's just something about it. I mean, then again, growing up in the '80s, 69 Charger or a Bullet Mustang, that's.
Yeah, the more I look back, the C7 Z06 was the most exciting car I've had to drive, and the more cars I drive, the more it lives up to that. It was not the fastest, not the best handling, not the best quality. It was just the most exciting car to drive. And it was, even to start, it was the most exciting car.
and I think it wanted to kill you more than any other car you ever owned.
No, the C6 did.
Really?
Yeah, the C6, even with less horsepower, because it had far less traction.
And
good.
Yeah,
right? And so the C7 had a little bit better balance. Well, actually had a lot better balance as far as putting down the power. And because it had that locking electronic limited rear diff, it actually worked. But because of that extra 150 horsepower and 150 foot-pounds of torque, third gear on the highway meant you were literally smoking tires with a downshift and a punch to the gas at 70 miles an hour. And it was exciting to watch smoke come out the rear end of your tires at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Not for the drivers behind you, because they all thought they were going to die, but it was really fun for me.
Yeah, coming out of my 911, I felt like the Mustang wanted to hurt me.
Yes. It still does. It still does.
Yes. Let all the Mustang jokes ensue.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you can control it, most can't.
But it was, going from, high 300 horsepower to over 5 and just different dynamics in the weight distribution was a little bit like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake getting rid of that.
Did you buy it brand new?
No, I traded it in.
Okay.
Yeah, but the Mustang only had about 4,000 miles, so it was.
Oh yeah,
somebody else
essentially
breaking it.
new.
No, that's great.
Perfect.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you spec'd it or if it was one of those okay.
Well, one of the reasons why I pulled the trigger is it was spec'd exactly the way I wanted. It's lightning blue with the white stripes, and it had black wheels and everything I wanted.
Yep.
The modern Mustang. That new GT500 is so pretty too.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I saw one the other day. Drooling over it.
If you can get them, I think they're a little hard to get right now. So everything's hard to get from Ford right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What are you looking forward to most of being the GM of Drivers Club? This is a very coveted position, by the way. I'm sure a lot of our listeners are hearing this and be like, man, that guy's lucky. And they're right. It's one of the coolest jobs in the world. What are you looking forward to most, though? Most
definitely just the people, being in a position where I can get to know people with such vast experience in life, but we're all tied together with these similar passions and hobbies, and that's really what I look forward to the most. There's some fun stories here that are beyond just I bought a cool car, which is the best part. Like I'm looking at a Carrera GT in the corner that I know sees track time. That's really cool. Right. You don't see a lot of Carrera GTs that are doing anything but sitting in a showroom collecting appreciation, let alone one that I know the driver uses his car. He doesn't buy anything because it looks pretty and it's going to appreciate. He buys it to use it, and it's going to appreciate. Absolutely.
There's been so many times I've been in conversations here at Drivers Club where I'm like, I don't belong in this conversation, but I want to be here, and I'm learning a lot, and maybe I should be writing some of this down. But exactly, the passion of the automobile here is everybody has it, no matter what you're driving. Yeah. Most of them are driving Porsches, but
I think that's equal Ferrari, and for some reason, two Land Rover Discoveries.
Yeah, most Discoveries I've ever seen since
Defenders,
off-road,
not Discoveries. Yeah,
off-road track day. Yeah, so I mean, so if it's not a Porsche, or a Mustang, what are our top choices in your mind?
Man, I mean,
there's a wrong answer here.
I'm open to.
No.
I'm open to everything. I guess that's what I enjoy about the car scene the most.
Okay.
Is you never know until you give it a shot, and sometimes things surprise you.
It's amazing how something small with just a little bit of horsepower can still try to kill you too.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, they always say the Miata is always the answer.
Except I don't fit in it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's not going to be my answer ever.
So you just keep the roof off and put in the roll bar.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't think a single person that ever owned one of the original RT Vipers fit in it without the roof off. So
that's true.
So, I mean,
once you pulled off the Velcro windows, it was good to go.
You don't need windows. That way you come out of the car when it crashes.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true.
So something like that.
How's the family? I gotta know how that conversation went. How did the wife take the hey? So here's this popped up because you said you were looking at another job, and then this just popped up.
Yeah.
You're like, well, that's off the table now.
Yeah. It was shocking. It was, I like Doug's style. It was pretty direct.
Yeah.
And I said, man, I can't say no. And, before giving Doug my final answer, definitely talked with the family and thought about it hard for 2 or 3 days. And they were really supportive,
Good.
They understand that passionate about these things, and I think they really saw the value in me coming to work every day, somewhere that I truly love.
It's very rare we get to work in a way like that suits
Right.
that. I mean, there's a few of us lucky in the audience who get to do what they love every day, but not all of us.
Normally, my wife's the one that pumps the brakes when I'm chasing shiny, opportunities or buying new cars or whatever.
Yeah.
But
she's a good balance for you.
Yeah. In this case, she was behind it, and so that really helped.
Cool. Is she from the area too? Then
she's from Southern Idaho.
Oh,
yeah,
great spot.
Yeah,
actually,
so Northwest. Yeah. Her dad farms down there, and yep.
What part of the area did you grow up in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah.
So I was born up in Bellingham.
Okay.
My family kind of migrated a couple spots across the state. Lived in central and eastern Washington before going down to southern Idaho about the time I was in junior high.
Nice.
And stayed through high school there, and through the military came back up to the Northwest and knew that's where I wanted to stay.
It's funny because growing up, my dad had a very good friend that was in the financial business, and he went to West Point and came out of like a really, really small town in southern Idaho. And it's just, of all the places.
That sounds like me.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's kind of a cool coincidence. So,
cool. All right, well, we're due for our next break. We come back, we'll talk more about the Avant stuff coming up that you probably can't go to because it's probably sold out, but we'll tell you about it and make you FOMO. So we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, that.
Grandpa, what do you call this thing again?
It's a 66 Ford Bronco.
I think you got ripped off.
Why is that, honey?
It's got no Wi-Fi, no USB port, no Bluetooth.
Exactly. I guess we'll just have to talk.
Sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect.
Is that the window button?
It's called a window crank.
Cool. The faster I move it, the faster it goes down.
This moment of escape was created by Haggerty
Being old is kind of cool, Grandpa.
Works for me.
for people who love cars.
And we're back.
So, I mean, yeah, you've been on the job all of, 3 days now. I mean, it's...
That's right.
And I know through COVID and things like that, Drivers Club kind of went inward, kind of closed down. But, you guys are... as they had to. I was like,
Yeah.
The governor told you to. But, I mean, you guys are still looking for active executive members to store cars. You did reopen the
The social membership?
Good Lord. We just talked about it. I was like,
Nick had a stroke.
There
We're back.
are still, yeah, exactly. Might be one extra social member in a minute if I just keel over from a stroke. The social memberships you are still taking applications for that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I mean, and one of the neat things about being a member of Drivers Club, but you guys got your PCH rally coming up pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. All the cool events. So it's like all air-cooled Porsches right now, I saw.
That's what it looks like.
Up. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome, though.
I think that says that. Like, do you drive a Porsche? Yes or no? And if it says no, it just kicks the application. So it's fine. So, yeah.
Porsches and fries.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever done a big drive like that? A big road trip or for the sake of driving? I don't mean like I drove to California because I had to, but like you took the back way. Is that your thing?
Only in that Obsessed Garage event that I organized. We did some drives. We did one also down in Monterey that another member organized. But
There's a lot of good drives out of Monterey.
yeah.
And also some that'll rip the front end off your car, we found out. A little back road out
Allegedly.
of Carmel.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done some rallies down there. Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look forward to joining.
Well,
Yeah.
it's going to be an incredible experience, and I think welcome to the when you're running around here with pulling your hair out, going, how do I get it all done? Well, everybody wants these things, but the membership here is great, and they're good people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've got some good stuff coming up as COVID restrictions sort of lift. I went to a restaurant the other day. It was absolutely freezing.
Where? Tell me about it. Give me all the details.
I was just saying it was nice to actually sit down and eat in a restaurant for once. I was
You
like,
can go to a restaurant and sit in the parking lot in an enclosed space that's outside.
right?
Haven't you been down here? No. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. But we've got some good Avant stuff coming up. Of course, the 20th, right after this comes out, we are going to have another off-road event, which I'm hoping there's still a bunch of snow up there. Up at our friends at Dirtfish, so that off-road events are fun. They're even more fun when there's ice and snow, which will add a whole other layer of complexity and fun to that. And, of course, we will have our prizes from our good friends at Griot's Garage.
And I think that same day they're doing the private tour down
The next day.
Oh, it's the next day. Okay.
Yeah, I had to verify that. So they're doing a private tour on the 21st of Griot's Motors. So now Griot's Garage and Griot's Motors are different things. They're the same place, I should say, same area. They're right next door to each other. But one is like a restoration facility and things like that. That's Griot's Motors. And you can take a look at the collection there. And then there's Griot's Garage, which is all the cleaning side of it, the detail products.
And I don't know if there's spots open, but if you're an Avance member and you're available, you should definitely go down there. Dan and I have had the opportunity to see that, and it's one of the places that they describe like you could eat off the floor. It's just insane.
Yeah, it looks like there's still a couple spots. Saturday there is an event. That's the one that's sold out. That's why it's not on the calendar.
Oh, okay.
And then Sunday, the 21st, there are still a few spots available. You can go to Avance. If you're not a member, join, then book your time slot. But that'll be worth it. It's very small groups, 6 people due to COVID, of course, and so they're being very careful about that. But that is an impressive thing to see. Understatement.
Yeah.
Griot's Motors is amazing.
It's a gorgeous facility. Yeah. So, and we're hoping to do some events down there eventually with Griot's and Griot's Motors, so that we can kind of get it out to the public when things loosen up a little bit. So
Yep.
When we go into stage 14 or whatever it is, 6 years from now.
Yep.
So,
and
yeah.
I think, speaking of, I think our friends at LeMay, America's Automotive Trust, are also opening back up.
Yeah, I saw something about that.
Yeah, that'll be coming soon. We'll give you an official announcement on that pretty quick because that's always fun to go check out.
They've been doing the social hours on Zoom and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're
kinda
fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, excellent.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I know we kind of threw you into the fire right off the bat, like, hey, welcome to Drivers Club. Get on the podcast. So, yeah.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to doing more events with you guys. If our listeners want to get a hold of you, they want to do a social application or they want to apply to store their car here, it's not as easy as just signing up. We want to be careful about who you let in the building, of course, not because they're a bunch of stuck-up jerks, but because we want good people in a good spot that don't have to worry about their cars here, which is a very fair thing.
Yeah.
So how do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, David@drivers.club.
Okay.
Hit me there.
Sounds good.
What's the old phrase? I don't want to be a member of a club that would have me as a member. Something like that. Yeah. For this episode of Rain City Supercars, I'm Nick.
I'm Dan, and don't just get there. Enjoy the drive.